and being an observer for it, rather than, you can't be so in it or else it's not going to translate. Yeah, and that's really difficult because,
you
it
totally
goes
have
beyond
to
just
get
writing.
over yourself, and you can't sit there either. Like, I don't think that's the way creativity works. At least it doesn't for me. You can't sit there and beat yourself up over trying to come up with an idea.
Right.
It's just, that's
Can't
not
force
what it is, and it's not going to come across that way. It's always like just things that I say, go by what inspires you. You know, write about that, or you know, do things that make you want to write in the first place. Like the reason why I wrote would be for different things, different outlets. I've used writing as a coping mechanism for you know, if you're feeling bad or if you're feeling good or whatever. Like, do it for that reason, and then you can always, you know, format a script around that, I suppose, as opposed to, you know, being like, oh, I just want to write a script and make a movie, and then trying to come up with something.
Can't force it.
No.
Exactly. So, in your opinion, what's the most important part, or a key to a good story?
I guess I don't know. I was thinking just like honesty, just like trying to keep it to something like in your sort of like experience. I mean, if you're trying to accommodate what other people are gonna like, that's just like saying, you know, like, eat this apple, it's good. I mean, it's like, well, no, I don't want to eat it anymore. You know, like, don't tell me what's good for me, sort of thing. And you get you don't want to be too preachy. It's just so many lines. So I think like honestly, you just really have to like it and really care about it, and you really can't think about anything more than that. Because
what was the question?
What's the key to a good story?
That, and like they tell us too, you have to go by the hero's journey, and I'm sure we just hear that. And and that's something that in film school we did learn early on. They kind of threw that at us and said you have to have like a first act, a second act, and a third act, and it has to follow structure. And I found with myself, and I'm still finding this, I have trouble with structure. Like, you know, the ideas, no problem. I can come up with the creative ideas, and I can come up with the theme and the tone and all that kind of stuff, but structure is very difficult.
So are you saying you disagree with structure, or do you?
No, I'm saying that I think it definitely is important, but the way that you go about getting structure, I think, is going to be different as getting ideas for everybody. You know, like I think for me, and I haven't tried this yet because I just graduated and haven't had time yet, but I'm just going to write my script, and that's my script. You know, I know it sucks structurally, it's not great. I know there's a little bit of a story. You can always pick the story out of the crap that you have. Like, it's not about, you know, coming up with a story and you know, writing this happens and this happens. That's not the way I do it. And so coming up with the story out of that and then rewriting it, and I think each time you rewrite it, it's going to be a little bit better. And I know for myself, when I watch movies, I never know what's going on. I have to watch it like 3 times. I'll pick out certain things about the movie and I'll know I really like the movie, but I'm like, what? I can't follow this. And it's not until I watch it 3 or 4 times that I really know what's going on. And even then, you can watch a movie like 10 times and pick out new things each time. But I think it's the same for writing it. You know, you're just going to have to write it out a few times, and eventually a structure will come out of that. But that's for myself.
Yeah, totally. The best movies out there are the ones that break the rules, but they know they're breaking the rules. It's not like they never knew the rules. They know the rules, and they break them on purpose. But they're doing it in such smart ways that they've created their own set of rules. It's like they just, it's so hard because it goes beyond just like the screenplay itself. It's so much of your life and how much you understand the beats in your life, like the 3 beats in your life of what happens, and like because it's like if you're trying to write something real too.
And too, it's about not being afraid to be different and to take those kind of risks. You know, everybody tells you it needs to be this way, but then you look at someone like Quentin Tarantino, and his structure's all over the place, you know, and look how successful he is. And I think we're at a time now where you can't just expect that everybody's going to want the same thing. Not everybody's going to want the same thing, and so you just have to have trust that there's going to be somebody out there who shares, you know, your vision of what you feel about it, and that it's going to turn out. You just have to have faith that it's going to turn out.
And you know, it's never going to be perfect, because it's not about like a linear story, because everyone's going to say, well, this was the climax for me, or this was the inciting incident for me. Like, you can't, you know, because it's different parts of the movie's going to resonate with different people, and so you got to know that too. Like, you can't go out there and try and serve this and be like, well, this is third act starting right now.
To see it the same way you do, Cool. I kind of want to touch on being a writer in Vancouver. So you guys have graduated now, you know, so you're a writer in Vancouver. Like, what do you guys, is it tough? How are you guys doing for finding work? Is it pretty difficult? Like, how are you guys paying the bills? You know?
And, as far as finding people to work with, that's been like really great. I think I was worried upon graduation that there wouldn't be anything, there wouldn't be any work for me, nobody would want to read my stuff, blah blah blah. And then I'd end up, going back to the same kind of jobs that I had always done before. But it's actually been quite the opposite in that I go back to the same kind of job that I was at before, but I don't want to be there at all. Like I have to pay some bills and do that for a little while, and just keep on. I guess I look at it like you're nurturing like you would your child. It's kind of like I'm nurturing my career, and I'm putting as much as I can into that. And people around Vancouver are great. I mean, it's I think it's the second biggest film production place in North America. So it's all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're so connected to the States as well, LA, people constantly going back and forth.
Right.
And we're finding too, just like with the stuff on the websites like YouTube and things like that, you just write it, film it, get it up, and get people watching it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not getting paid, at least people are watching it.
Right.
And maybe someone will see it,
Right. Exactly.
There's lots of outlets like that. Yeah.
And they tell you too, like, don't expect to get paid for a long time, and I kind of have that in my head, but I'm also like, well, why have that expectation? Who
Right.
knows?
Exactly.
Who knows? Why hold on to, I gotta be writing for 4 years before I get paid. I mean,
Yeah.
I really want to start getting paid for my work. I think it's worth getting paid.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of the big screenwriters pretended that they were working for a lot of years and made up, bios and stuff like that, like John Hughes.
Yeah.
Made up a bunch of shit, and he got work because of that. Yeah. So you can just do that too.
Yeah.
Lots of ways around
Do
it.
it
I
under
think.
work.
I really think you can do it. Yeah.
Hey,
Exactly.
absolutely, especially in this industry.
If
right?
it's good, it's good.
Well,
You
that's
know.
the funny thing.
Yeah.
You guys see yourself staying in Vancouver, or you guys see yourself moving to like LA, for example?
I don't know. It's pretty good. Yeah, things are growing here, so.
I think
Always
we're good
open
here for a
to-
bit, but we're
yeah.
definitely not like fixed here.
Right.
And if there was an opportunity to come up wherever in LA or anywhere in the world, really, because I'd love to travel,
Right.
I would be willing to uproot. And I think the thing that's makes me not want to be here the most is the weather. It's,
Right.
Yeah, it's not anything about
Yeah.
like it's great here for industry wise. Yeah.
What kind of writers do you want to be? Like for you guys want to write feature films, or is it like sketch comedy, or like, what do you guys see yourself? You guys have a dream writing job. What would it be?
That's hard too, because once you go through it, you see you've tried so many different kinds of writing, and there's things that you do like and things you don't, but there's more than one thing you like, so you want to be able to do it all. And I
Just
don't
want
like
to
to.
dabble in everything.
Well, yeah, I don't like to
Limit yourself.
force limits on myself with my goals either. Like, obviously sketch comedy, that's what we're working on right now, but everybody's got a feature. Every writer has a feature,
Right.
a screenplay that they want to get made. So, music writing, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not limited.
And especially too, it goes with your age. I couldn't imagine sitting in like a TV room right now with like 4-year-olds.
No.
Like that doesn't appeal to me.
It kind of, it's about the times as
Yeah.
well. Like, it's not for TV writing. It's not about wanting to have your work scrutinized that way. Your ideas, like, I have good ideas that I feel are good, and I'm just gonna do it myself then if nobody else wants to. So.
What's your opinion on the potential strike that's going to happen with the writers' union?
Right.
I don't even really know anything about it.
Yeah, me neither. I try not to pay attention.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
What is
I
it?